working. This means that there is less free time available for cooking, and that makes simpler instant meals an attractive prospect. However, that can get old really quickly. To combat that, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, simple pork loin roast meal that takes very little time to make. I'll briefly explain all the steps from prepping the kitchen and the ingredients to cooking and serving the meal. Now let's start with the first and simplest step, prepping the kitchen. Before anything else, set the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, get that preheating. After that's done, you're going to want to get all your ingredients ready to go. That is going to be your pork roast, olive oil, salt, pepper, rosemary, and minced garlic. And once you get all those out and ready to go, now we can begin to actually work on the roast. What you're going to do is you're going to place your roast onto a metal cookie sheet first. Once that's done, you're going to drizzle enough olive oil onto it that's going to cover the entire roast. That includes the bottom. If you don't do that, the roast will stick and it'll make a mess. Once that's done, you're going to sprinkle the rosemary, salt, pepper, and the garlic. The specific quantities don't matter because, tastes vary from person to person. Just do as much as you want to put on. Once that's done, you kind of want to massage the spices that are on the roast so that some oil covers them and it helps them from getting burned too easily in the oven. Now that the roast is ready, we can actually begin cooking and serving the meal. Place the pork loin with the metal sheet into the oven and set the timer for 15 to 20 minutes per pound of roast. So if you had like a 2-pound roast, you cook it for about 40 minutes. Just kind of eyeball the weight because it's not a science making this meal. Once the timer goes off, you're going to want to take it quickly out of the oven and carefully so you don't get splattered with grease, and then gently set the roast onto a plate. Once that's done, let the roast sit for about 8 minutes. This is called resting, and it will ensure that the food stays moist when you cut into it and eat it later. Once that's done, you can serve and enjoy with your choice of sides. And now that the food is cooked and ready to go, let's review the steps so far. The whole process from prepping the kitchen, oiling, seasoning, and cooking and serving the roast only took about 45 minutes. That's not a very long time considering that most of that time is just waiting for the roast to cook. I hope that this shows everyone that you can enjoy a simple, delicious meal even on a tight schedule.
I know, even if we can't hear it, just applaud. It's nice form. Good job. It's really a shame because I am so hungry. It's not even funny. And like all of these speeches turn out to be food speeches, or the vast majority of them, because everyone's like, I know how to make that. I make this snack. I make this no-bake cookie. And then I sit here at dinner time thinking, this sucks. All right. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, you wanna get on deck? Oh, and your time was 2:57, so pretty solid there too, right in the sweet spot.
We've all been there. You go in for a routine oil change and you end up spending an hour or two in a small room with nothing but old car magazines and a TV with one channel. Luckily, change your own oil is a great way to save time and money. By the end of my speech, you'll be able to safely position your car, drain the oil, and replace the old oil. First, we'll need a few items from your local auto parts store. List of these items include oil, oil filter wrench, drain pan, drain plug, a funnel, a set of ramps, and a wrench with an appropriate socket for your drain plug. While this may seem overwhelming, the people at your local auto parts store will be more than happy to help you find exactly what you need. After you've acquired these items, we'll need safe access to the oil pan. For this, it is very important the car is on a flat surface and the wheels are straight. Now, wedge the ramps underneath the front wheels, and with someone directing you, drive up the ramps. Once up the ramps, engage your parking brake and put the car in park. We now have access to the oil pan and can begin draining the oil. For this, it is very, Now that we have safe access to the oil pan, we will need to drain the oil. First, open up the hood and unscrew the oil filler cap. Next, find the oil pan under the car and put the drain pan underneath it. Now unscrew the drain plug using the socketed wrench you got from the auto parts store. Wait about 10 minutes until it's completely drained. After the oil is drained, we'll need to replace it. First, tighten the new drain plug using moderate force. This doesn't need to be exact, it just needs to not fall off. The old oil filter will also need to be replaced. Finding it can be tricky, but your car manual should tell you exactly where to find it. Using the oil filter wrench, remove the old one and replace it with the new one. Make sure before putting on the new one to loop the threads so it doesn't get stuck next time you change the oil. Now you need to add the oil, and to do this, use a funnel and add the appropriate amount of oil through the oil filler cap you opened earlier. And now we're done. Today we've talked about how to change your oil. First, you need to position your car and safely position your car. Second, the oil will need to be drained. And third, the oil needs to be replaced. Now that you're all expert mechanics, I hope you can save time and money by changing your own oil. That's it.
Your time was 2:38, Chris, just so you know.
Ready?
Now I am, yeah.
Okay. Great. Have you ever missed out on the perfect parking spot just because you lack the ability to parallel park? We've all been there, and it's a bad feeling. As students, we don't have sufficient funds to buy a car with self-parking abilities. But as a local of Washington, D.C., I was forced to learn how to parallel park when I started to drive. So today, I'm going to tell you how to parallel park in 4 easy steps. Measure the spot, pull in, back up, and straighten your car. So let's start by going over the first step. The first step to parallel parking is to measure the spot you want to park in. The spot has to be large enough, obviously, or else you can't park there. And to do this, you want to pull up next to the spot, and then with just eyeballing it, it's not exact science, just see if it's sufficient, enough space. Now that you've ensured the spot is large enough, it's time to pull in. So the second step is pull your car up to the spot next to the car that you will be parking behind. That way you'll be set up to back into the spot. So drive up right next to the car and align your seat with the back seats of the car that's going to be parked in front of you. This will give you a pretty good space so that you can turn the wheel and back in correctly. Now that you're set up to back in, it's time to back in. The third step is to back into the spot. Put your car into reverse and turn your wheel clockwise or towards the spot and give it some gas and back in. And always check your mirrors so you don't hit anyone. And that's always good. And back as far as you can so you don't hit the car behind you. So now you're in the spot, and now you want to straighten it so you can accommodate the people in front of you and behind. So now you want to straighten the wheel's alignment so that's pointing towards the car in front of you, and then just give it a little bit of gas and make sure that the space in front of you and behind you is about the same so you can accommodate those drivers so they can get out of their spots. Let's now recap the 4 steps of parallel parking. First, you measure to make sure you can fit in the spot. Then you pull up the car that's going to be in front of you. And then you back in, check your mirrors, and then lastly, straighten and make sure you can accommodate the other drivers around you. Now you'll be able to recite and perform the 4 steps of parallel parking. Thank you.
You were at 304, Tyler, just as an FYI.
Thank you.
Just give me 1 second, okay? When you're ready.
Going to school full-time and working full-time can be a drag, especially when you're a nursing student. I work 12-hour shifts, so I don't get any sleep. If I could, I would have a coffee IV. I'm pretty sure there's a nurse out there trying to figure that out. However, I can't. So today I'm going to be showing how to make 2 ways of the perfect cup of coffee. The first way probably is for those of you that are beginning to drink coffee or don't like the taste. So I have a Keurig. It's easy. I don't know how to make those old-time-fashioned coffee pot ways. Sorry. So to begin, you're going to need to grab your materials. You're going to need your coffee cup. You're going to need your K-cup. And you're going to need your creamer. To begin, you're going to take your K-cup and you're going to put it in the top of the Keurig and shut the lid. Then you're going to take your coffee cup and put it underneath. And you're going to choose option number 2 for this one. This one will give you that much coffee. Once your coffee is done brewing, you're going to take your cup and your creamer, and you're going to add 1 to 3 cups of creamer, or just spill to the top, stir, and enjoy. Now, that's one way to make a cup of coffee. I, however, like the taste of coffee, so I'm going to show you the second way. Again, you're going to grab your material. Cup, K-cup, and creamer. Again, you're going to start by taking your K-cup and putting it in the top of the Keurig and shutting the lid. Then you're going to take your coffee cup and put it underneath. And this time, you're going to choose option number 3. This is going to give you more coffee. Now, once your coffee is done brewing, take your creamer. I prefer hazelnut, and put like a dash of coffee. That's all you need. Stir and enjoy. Today I've showed you 2 different ways of making the perfect cup of coffee. While the second might be my favorite, the first one might be for those of you that don't really like the taste. As my mom always says, do not talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Your time was 2:16. Good job. Give me just 1 second, Manchu. Okay.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Okay. Has anyone have tried Chinese food? Do you like Chinese food? Kung Pao chicken is a famous, popular Chinese dish. Today, I'm going to introduce how to cook Kung Pao chicken. It only takes 4 steps to cook. The 4 steps are marinate the chicken, prepare the sauce, stir-fry the chicken, and mix all the ingredients. Let's begin by looking at the first step to cook Kung Pao chicken. The first step is marinate the chicken. In a medium bowl, stir together the soy sauce, rice wine, and cornstarch until the cornstarch is dissolved. Then add the chicken and stir gently to coat. Let stand at room temperature for about 10 minutes. The second step is prepare the sauce. In another bowl, combine the black vinegar, soy sauce, Hoisin sauce, sesame oil, sugar, cornstarch, and Sichuan pepper. Stir until the sugar and cornstarch are dissolved and set aside. The third step is stir-fry the chicken. You might need to turn on your stove's exhaust fan because the stir-frying dried chilies on high heat can get a little bit smoky. Heat a wok or large skillet over high heat until a bit of water settles and evaporates on contact. Then add the peanut oil and stir to coat the base. Then the chilies and stir fry for about 30 seconds or until the chilies have just begun to blacken and the oil is slightly fragrant. Add the chicken and stir fry until no longer pink for about 2 or 3 minutes. The last step is to mix all the ingredients. Add the scallion whites, garlic, and ginger, and then stir fry for about 30 seconds. Then put in the sauce and mix all the coat to the other ingredients. Stir the peanut and cook for another 1 or 2 minutes. Then transfer to a serving plate. Sprinkle the scallion greens on the top and serve. Let's review the 4 steps to cook kung pao chicken. The first step is marinate the chicken. The second step is prepare the sauce. The third step is stir fry the chicken. And then the last step is mix all the ingredients. Now I hope everyone can cook kung pao chicken by yourself. Thank you.
All right, Robert, you're on deck, my man. Oh, and Manchu, your time was 2:46.
Hey guys, how you doing today? Summer has finally arrived in Laramie, Wyoming, which means that it's time to plant a garden. Gardening has become more and more popular, younger and younger ages throughout the years, as people learn the psychological benefits and the dietary benefits of gardening. I'm going to show you today how to plant a tomato in a container, as many students don't usually have a garden plot to make a garden out of. Remember, in gardening, especially in containers, and for a student, the measure of success isn't always yield or the amount of fruit and vegetables you get. Really what you're looking for is an investment in a peace of mind. This is why container gardens are perfect for students. So, I was reading along in an article by Ann Harding for Health.com. In 2011, which is 5 years ago, they said that a study conducted in Norway proved that gardening helps people fight anxiety and depression, that there were measurable improvements in people's mood, energy levels, and overall health. So again, a small-scale garden is very feasible for a student and can be very, very rewarding, and especially if you have a stressful lifestyle. So the first materials you'll need are really basic and very readily available. You're going to need a tomato start, a baby tomato. And if you go right now, or go soon, not right now, you can definitely start and get some favorable, successful tomatoes. I like to go to Windmill Nursery, which is just south of town, next to the old concrete plant. Really good prices, really, really healthy plants. Also, I would recommend that people get big starts. Laramie has a short growing season, so you really want to maximize the amount of good weather we have. Get a plant with blossoms and even maybe some small fruit already started on it. So these big plants with small blossoms, will really determine your pot size. A smaller plant, a smaller pot. A bigger plant, a bigger pot. So I always buy my plant first. So I get my plant, then I get my container. I like to get a plastic container because Laramie is very arid, and a plastic container helps keep the moisture in there. It's also cold at night, and the plastic container helps keep heat in there. This pot should be about 12 inches wide, 12 inches deep, so that the roots have plenty of room to grow and don't get bound up. The next thing you'll need is a matrix or a growing soil. This adds nutrients, stabilizes temperature, and humidity for the plant. The matrix, the soil, rocks and cans can all be used to make the soil. I prefer cans because they're lightweight, and usually my neighbors are all drinking beer, so there's plenty of beer cans around. So I put beer cans in the bottom of the pot to allow for drainage. You also need a bag of garden soil, not potting soil, garden soil. You can get this at Walmart for about $5, Kmart the same, or if you go to the landfill, you might get it free, or even the community garden. So we've identified the materials you'll need. Now it's time to plant. You'll take your pot and put the cans in first on the bottom. Then adjust the soil to the level where the cans are. Put your start in the center of the pot. Cover soil around the start and tamp it down with your hands. Add about a quart of water just to settle the soil and leave it alone. You'll just want to water it the next few days, once a day, about 2 quarts of water. We've talked about materials and process. Now, I want
I'm
to tell you.
sorry, that's time, Robert.
All right, thank you.
Wonderful. Those good speeches, everyone. Are there any further questions about the course in general?